Hello. How's it going? I'm coming to you from my kitchen, so you might hear my wife cooking some food for us in the background. She's making tostadas. She's been putting the beans in the Instapot right now. Like some tostadas de picadillo con una salsita roja con un quesito bien rico. Anyways, moving on. If you watched the previous video, you should have learned that the circumference of a unit circle is 2 pi. And so half of a circle is pi, and so forth. So if you remember, we talked about the unit circle and we talked about the first quadrant for only to find the rest of them. But if you remember, we talked about 30 degree, 45, and 60 degrees. When we talked about the 30 degrees, we showed that if we go 30 degrees here and drop a triangle there, we were able to find the x and y coordinates of that triangle of that point right there. We did the same thing with 45 degrees. If we drop the triangle there, we were able to find the x and y coordinate of that. And we did the same thing with 60 degrees, and we're able to find the x and y coordinate for that. If you want to learn how to quickly write the x and y coordinates, look at this. You just write 2 on the bottom, and it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and you have all your coordinates. Now just remember that there are square roots. Square root of 1 is just 1, and there you go. So those are your x and y coordinates. But for this lesson, we're interested in the radians, remember, which is just the distance around the circle. So if you remember in the previous video, half of the circle was pi radians. But if we want to look at it in degrees, it'll be 180 degrees. So pi is equal to 180 in degrees. So that's going to help us later on in this video. So to begin with, we want to find first the radians distance around the circle at 30 degrees. So we're going to go here now. At 30 degrees, which means that what we can do is we're going to split up our circle into all 30 degrees around. So it'll be 30, 30, 30, another 30, another 30, and then another 30 here. So if we count, this will be 30 degrees, 60 degrees, 90, 120, 150, and 180. But we want to talk about radians today. So radians, think about this. From here to here is pi. So we have to think about how many pieces are we splitting up pi in. And if you count them, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So each one of these distances is pi 6. So this distance here is 1 pi 6. If we go this distance, now we're going 2 pi 6s, right? And if we go 3 distances, that's going to be 3 pi 6s. So we're really just counting 1, 2, 3. We're going 3 pi 6s. The next one is going to be 4 pi 6s, 5 pi 6s, and the last one is going to be 6 pi 6s. You can think of each one of these here being pi 6, pi 6, pi 6, pi 6, pi 6, pi 6. And you're just counting how many there are around. So it's going to be 1 pi 6, 2 pi 6, 3 pi 6, 4 pi 6, 5 pi 6, 6 pi 6. And if we want to go all the way around, we're just going to count how many pi 6s we'll have. All right, pi 6, pi 6, pi 6, pi 6, pi 6, and then another pi 6. So we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pi 6s, 8 pi 6s, 9 pi 6, 10 pi 6, 11 pi 6, and 12 pi 6. So when you're talking about 30 degrees, you're talking about pi 6s in radians. And we're just counting how many of those pi 6 slices we're going to go around. And that's going to be this part of the unit circle here, over here. If you look at all these fractions, we can simplify them. Okay, so the first one is just 1 pi 6, which is pi 6. That's this distance here. Now, if we go 2 slices over, it's going to be 2 pi 6, and that's going to simplify to pi thirds. And if we go 1, 2, 3, over here was 3 pi 6s, and that can simplify to pi halves. 4 pi 6s, that's going to simplify to 2 pi thirds. 5 pi 6s, that is already simplified. And then 6 pi 6s, the 6 cancel out, and you're left with just pi. The next one is 7 pi 6, that's already simplified. 8, 6, I'm simplifying it over here. That's going to be 4 pi 1, 2 thirds, 4 pi thirds. And then 9 pi 6s is going to be 3 pi halves. I'm dividing both sides by 3. Over here it's going to be 5 pi thirds, and this is already simplified, 11 pi 6, and then 12 pi over 6. 6 goes into 12, 2 pi. And once we're all done here, this is a simplified version. This is what the radians are. Radians, when your unit circle is split in 30 degrees. Okay? So these are the radians, the distance around the circle when your unit circle is split into 30 degrees.